Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me closely. It does not matter how old you are. It does not matter what mistakes you've made. It does not matter who counted you out, who walked away, or who said you'll never rise again. The truth is this: the rest of your life can be the best of your life if you decide today to make it so. Life is not about what you've lost. It's about what you've got left. And let me tell you something, what you've got left is enough. Enough to build, enough to grow, enough to shine, enough to leave a legacy. But here's the catch: the best of your life will not show up at your door like a delivery package. No, you've got to wake up every single day and demand it. You've got to fight through the doubt, fight through the fear, fight through the excuses, and declare, I will not die with my dreams still inside me. Understand this: your past is a classroom, not a prison. It's meant to teach you, not trap you. The failures you've faced, they're fertilizers. The pain you've endured, it's preparing you. The disappointments, they're shaping your character for the breakthrough that's waiting for you. But you've got to do your part. You must believe again, dream again, dare again. Don't let your age stop you. Don't let your scars stop you. Don't let the opinions of small minds stop you. Hear me clearly: if you're still breathing, your story is not finished. If your heart is still beating, your miracle is still possible. If your eyes can open in the morning, then your destiny is still calling you. So rise up, dust yourself off. Declare that today is the day you take back your power. Today is the day you write a new chapter. Today is the day you start living the life you were created for. Because the best of your life isn't behind you. It's ahead of you. And it starts the moment you make the decision. Now is the time. This is your season. And the rest of your life will be the best of your life. Too many people live their lives dragging chains of yesterday. They replay old mistakes like a broken record, thinking that because they stumbled in the past, they are disqualified from a greater future. But your past is not a life sentence. It is a lesson. It was never meant to hold you hostage. It was designed to give you wisdom, resilience, and insight that can only be earned through experience. The very things you regret, the choices you wish you could erase, those are the chapters that taught you what not to repeat and what to reach for next. Think about it. Every great achiever, every dreamer who rose from nothing had a past that could have buried them. Some faced poverty, some faced rejection, some faced shame, but they made a decision. Instead of living in the ruins of yesterday, they built a foundation with the stones that were once thrown at them. They understood something powerful. Your past does not define you. It refines you. What you went through was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your strength. You see, a classroom is where you learn. It's where you get tested, where you struggle, where you sometimes fail. But it's also where you grow. Life works the same way. The setbacks you've faced, they were quizzes preparing you for a bigger exam. The heartbreak you endured, that was a lesson in endurance, compassion, and self-worth. The losses you suffered, they taught you how to value what truly matters. Every painful moment carried a lesson, and if you refuse to learn it, you end up repeating the same grade over and over again. But here's the truth: you don't have to repeat the same cycle. You don't have to keep reliving the same mistakes. The past is behind you for a reason, because you are not meant to stay there. The rearview mirror in your car is small, but the windshield is wide. Why? Because where you are going is far more important than where you've been. If you keep staring at the rearview mirror of your life, you'll crash. But if you focus on the windshield, the future, you'll reach your destination. Let me make it plain. Your past has no power over you unless you give it permission. The names they called you, the failures that embarrassed you, The regrets that haunt you, none of those things can chain you down unless you decide to live in them. Forgive yourself. Release yourself. Learn from it, then move forward. Don't waste your present by living in a museum of old mistakes. The classroom was for learning, not for living. And here's the gift: when you finally shift your perspective, you realize that every scar has a story. Every wound has wisdom. Every tear watered the ground you're standing on today. You are wiser because of what you've endured. You are stronger because of what you survived. And if the past tried to bury you, understand this: it buried a seed. And seeds don't stay underground forever. They rise. So many people waste their lives believing they don't have enough time, enough money, enough education, enough support, enough opportunities. They talk themselves out of greatness because they think what's left in their hands is too small to matter. But hear this: you don't need everything to start, you only need something. And the truth is, what you have left, after all the losses, after all the mistakes, after all the setbacks, is still enough to take you to your destiny. Think of a sculptor. They don't need a perfect block of marble to create a masterpiece. They take what's in front of them, chip away at it, and bring out the beauty hidden inside. That's how life works too. You may not have the same resources you once had. You may not have the same relationships. You may not have the same energy you had in your youth. But what you do have is still usable. It's still valuable. It's still powerful enough to shape the life you desire. The danger is comparison. Too many people look at what they've lost or at what others have and decide they can't move forward. They say, if only I had more money, if only I had more time, if only I had their connections. But you don't need what they have. You need to maximize what you already possess. The seed in your hand may look small, but inside it is an entire forest. The talent in your heart may seem insignificant, but when nurtured, it can open doors you never imagined. What you have left may not look like much to the world, but it's enough for you to take the next step. And that's all life ever requires: the next step. You don't have to have the whole staircase. You don't have to see the entire journey. You simply have to use what's in your hand today. If it's a skill, sharpen it. If it's a gift, share it. If it's a voice, speak it. If it's time, invest it. If it's strength, use it. Don't let the little you have make you forget that great things often start small. Some of the most extraordinary breakthroughs in history came from people who had less than what others considered enough. Inventors who worked out of tiny garages. Leaders who started with no support. Writers who wrote on scraps of paper. Dreamers who had only faith to stand on. They didn't wait until they had it all together. They worked with what they had, and what they had became more than enough. The same is true for you. And here's the shift in perspective: enough is not about quantity, it's about quality of belief. It's not what's in your pocket that counts, it's what's in your mind and your heart. A single idea, a single decision, a single step can change the trajectory of your entire life. You may have been reduced, but you have not been destroyed. You may have less than you once did, but less in your hand with faith and action is greater than more in the hands of fear and doubt. Life is not decided by the chances we get. It's decided by the choices we make. Every single day you are shaping your future with the decisions you choose, whether big or small. Some people think destiny is written in the stars, but destiny is really written in the actions you take when the alarm clock goes off in the morning. Your decisions are steering the ship of your life. If you don't like where you're headed, don't curse the winds. Change your direction by making a new decision. One decision can shift everything. Think about it. Someone decides to get healthy, and years of bad habits start reversing. Someone decides to go back to school, and a whole new career opens up. Someone decides to forgive, and the bitterness that poisoned their life finally loses its grip. Destiny isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for you to decide. That decision is the seed, and the life you want is the harvest. The problem is, too many people get paralyzed at the crossroads. They stand in front of opportunities, but instead of deciding, they hesitate, they overthink, they wait for perfect timing. And while they wait, life moves on without them. Indecision is a decision in itself, a decision to stay stuck. Every time you delay, every time you hold back, every time you wait for the stars to align, you're letting your future slip through your fingers. But when you decide, you activate power. Decisions create momentum. The moment you decide, I will no longer live like this. I will no longer settle. I will no longer shrink. You flip a switch inside of you. That switch is called commitment. And commitment changes everything. You may not know the entire path. You may not know all the steps. But once you decide, the way begins to reveal itself. The doors begin to open. The right people begin to show up. Don't underestimate the ripple effect of a single decision. The choice to change your circle of friends, the choice to start that business, the choice to walk away from what no longer serves you. These decisions shape not only your life, but also the lives of everyone connected to you. Your children, your family, your community, they are all impacted by the choices you make. You may think it's just about you, but your decision could unlock freedom for generations. And here's the truth. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That response is a decision. Will you choose anger or peace? Will you choose fear or faith? Will you choose to stay down, or will you choose to rise? Life will test you, no doubt about it. But destiny is not shaped by the test. It's shaped by the decision you make in the middle of the test. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Too many people treat failure like a dead end, when in reality it's a detour. It doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're being refined. Think about it. Every farmer knows that what seems dirty, messy, and unpleasant fertilizer is exactly what helps crops grow. In the same way, your failures are the fertilizer for your future. They may stink, they may hurt, they may feel humiliating, but they are feeding the soil of your destiny. The most dangerous lie people believe is that failing means they aren't good enough. That's not true. Failing means you were brave enough to try. Failing means you took a step when others stayed sitting. Failing means you dared to dream when others played it safe. The only people who never fail are the ones who never attempt anything. And I can promise you this, doing nothing may protect you from failure, but it also protects you from growth. Look back at the lives of great innovators, leaders, and dreamers. Failure was their constant companion. The light bulb wasn't invented on the first try. Businesses that now dominate the world were once bankrupt ideas on paper. Great speakers were once people who stumbled over their words. Every time they failed, they gathered new information, new wisdom, new strength. Failure is a teacher dressed in disappointment, and the lesson it brings is worth more than the pain it causes. The reason most people quit is because they confuse temporary defeat with permanent failure. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you're finished. It means you need to try again, with better knowledge, with deeper commitment, with stronger faith. Think of fertilizer again. When you spread it, you don't see the results immediately. It takes time for the soil to absorb it, for the roots to use it, for the growth to show. Likewise, the failures of today may not make sense right now, but down the line, you'll see how they nourished your growth. Failure also humbles you in a way success never will. When you fall and rise again, you learn empathy, you learn compassion, you learn perseverance. You stop looking at life as something that should be easy and start embracing it as something worth fighting for. Failure stretches your character, sharpens your vision, and makes you appreciate success more when it finally arrives. Without failure, success would taste empty because it's the struggle that gives it sweetness. And here's the most important part. Failure does not define you unless you allow it to. Too many people wear failure like a name tag. I'm a failure. No, you are not what happened to you. You are not your mistakes. You are not your losses. You are not your bad chapters. You are the person who survived them. You are the person who learned from them. You are the person who will use that fertilizer to grow something stronger, deeper, and more fruitful than before. Excuses are thieves dressed in polite words. They sound reasonable, they sound logical, but underneath, they are robbing you of your future. Every time you say, I can't because, you're giving your power away. Excuses build walls around your potential. They create a prison of someday, where you keep promising yourself you'll move, but someday never comes. If you want to make the rest of your life the best of your life, you've got to stop making excuses and start making moves. The truth is, excuses are easier than effort. It's easier to say, I'm too tired, than to push through. It's easier to say, I don't have the money, than to find a way. It's easier to say, I'm too old, than to reinvent yourself. Excuses give you comfort, but comfort is the enemy of change. Excuses make you feel safe, but safe won't take you anywhere. Growth begins the moment you stop defending your limitations and start demanding your breakthrough. Excuses also give you an illusion of control. When you say, I can't because of my past, my family, my circumstances, what you're really saying is, I choose to hand over the steering wheel of my life. The danger is, while excuses may sound like explanations, they are really justifications for staying stuck. They keep you repeating the same year over and over again, instead of creating a brand new future. Until you stop feeding your excuses, you'll never feed your destiny. Think about this. Every person who has ever succeeded had excuses available to them. Some had more reasons to quit than you do right now. They had less money, less education, less support. They had broken homes, broken health, broken opportunities. But they made a decision to act anyway, to fight anyway, to believe anyway. What separates those who rise from those who stay stuck isn't luck. It's whether they chose excuses or execution. Excuses are also contagious. Surround yourself with excuse makers, and you'll find yourself catching their mindset. It's too hard, it's too late, it's too risky. Before you know it, you're repeating the same lines that kept them small. But when you surround yourself with people who refuse excuses, who hold you accountable, who say, no, you can do better, that energy rubs off on you. You begin to realize that the obstacle was never the problem, the excuse was. And here's the shift: excuses don't disappear until you replace them with responsibility. Responsibility says, it's on me, my future, my growth, my decisions. Responsibility doesn't care if it's hard, if it's scary, if it's inconvenient. Dome responsibility says, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. When you take ownership, you slam the door on excuses and open the door to possibilities. That's when your life stops shrinking and starts expanding. Age is one of the most common excuses people use to stop themselves from pursuing greatness. Some say, I'm too young, nobody will take me seriously. Others say, I'm too old, it's too late for me. But let me tell you something, age is nothing more than a number. It's not a ceiling, it's not a limit, and it's definitely not a reason to give up on your dreams. Your potential doesn't retire. Your calling doesn't expire. If you're still breathing, you're still becoming. When you're young, people will tell you, you don't have enough experience. But what they call inexperience is actually freedom. You haven't been boxed in yet. You haven't been conditioned to believe in limits. That fresh perspective, that daring spirit, that hunger. That's an advantage, not a disadvantage. Some of the world's greatest breakthroughs came from people who were too young to know what couldn't be done. They weren't trapped by the rules of how it's always been. And when you're older, people will whisper, "It's too late for you." Too late for who? Not for you. You've lived, you've learned, you've gathered wisdom. You've endured storms that gave you resilience. That's not a weakness. That's an arsenal. You have more insight, more clarity, and more inner strength now than you did in your younger years. What some call old is really seasoned. You're not done, you're equipped. You're not finished, you're fortified. History proves this truth over and over. Some of the world's most successful authors published their first book in their 50s or 60s. Some of the greatest inventors created their defining work later in life. Leaders rose to their highest influence in what society called their retirement years. They didn't let a calendar define their capacity. They understood something powerful. Life doesn't measure you by how many years you've lived, but by how much life you pour into your years. You see, age is a trickster. If you focus on it too much, it will either rush you or restrict you. When you're young, it makes you impatient. When you're older, it makes you hesitant. But if you rise above the illusion, you'll discover that age is irrelevant to destiny. Purpose doesn't ask your age before it calls your name. Dreams don't check your birth certificate before they knock on your heart. Opportunity doesn't care about how many candles were on your last cake. It only cares about whether you're ready to answer. And here's the reality: the world doesn't need you to be younger or older. It needs you to be willing. Willing to start, willing to grow, willing to step out of your comfort zone, willing to show up as you are. Whether you're 18 or 80, if you dare to say yes, if you dare to act with faith, if you dare to believe there's more in you, then age becomes powerless. Your number may change every year, but your purpose remains timeless.